This is my final vlog for practical techniques in strength and conditioning. In this vlog, I'll be evaluating my coaching practice. In this vlog, I'll be reviewing components of my own coaching practice. I will critique the effectiveness and application of components of my coaching process. There will be a self-reflection and analysis of my strengths and areas for development. I wanted to start by looking at the session design. The Plan Do Review model is a template that is widely recognised within the delivery of physical education and sports coaching. However, I feel this is an outdated method that doesn't take into account the cognitive thought processes and practical application of modern coaching. The model purely looks at planning, applying and reviewing, and represents a closed-loop process. The alternative model by Scholes 2011 reflects and applies the wider range of coaching variables to include feedback, strategies, review, process praise, and dealing with the negative. I think this method provides a better recognition of the whole coaching process in the organisation, application, delivery, and review. This is generally what I will be using as part of my role as a strength and conditioning coach. So, in reviewing my coaching process and practice, I wanted to provide some background information to the group analysed in this vlog. The individuals are part of a talent identification program for England Boxing. The program involves academic study in combination with boxing and strength and conditioning. It is designed to support talented young boxers into relevant employment or progress into GB boxing. The individuals are aged between 16 and 18 years old. Group sizes range from 5 to 15 athletes per session. Despite the combination of boxing and strength and conditioning, they are currently only taking part in one strength and conditioning session per week. My aim is to introduce strength and conditioning methods, monitor progress. More importantly, I want these individuals to develop a sound practical understanding, and I want them to develop the skills to effectively train and apply the strength and conditioning independently, as I recognise that one session per week will provide marginal improvements in performance. So this is the first scenario. In reviewing my performance, I provide an effective demonstration identifying a positive technical model of the deadlift. I think this is particularly important for a coach, as athletes will try to visually replicate what they have seen. This is supported by the following journal article. The article found that demonstrations alone were superior in learning a complex skill over verbal communication. As discussed, I want my athletes to develop independence to critique their own performance and to recognise their own mistakes and areas for development. I think this is particularly important so they can be effective in training independently. Therefore, athletes will be provided with time independent of my coaching to self-explore and develop independence. For this individual, I was able to provide appropriate levels of observation and progression, recognising and linking the two parts of the lift together, the squat drive and hip extension. Being critical in my areas of development, I feel that I overload coaching points, which goes against my philosophy in developing independence, and I should prioritise the key coaching points that provide a safe and effective exercise. I ask the athlete questions, but my questions are directed and leading, and in some instances, I provide the answer that I want to hear. Therefore, I need to encourage independence, encourage the athlete to reflect and comment on their own performance. Okay, moving on. So I've included this chart to show what I'm looking to develop. The individuals have been coached in a boxing environment, which is largely instructional and directed. Up until now, they haven't had to think about their own planning, engagement, and application, as they're largely told what they're going to be doing during that session. As we transfer onto this program, I want them to take some ownership of what they're doing. I want to support them in developing, but I also want their ideas, I want their input. I want them to provide areas specifically within boxing that they're looking to improve. So it's important that the athlete has independence, has time to explore, but also develops the skills and knowledge where they can correct their own areas for development and they can apply it independently within a gym environment. So that's what we're looking to create. So I want the athletes to move away from this directed approach to actually being a bit more independent, thinking about what they need to be doing, questioning what they're doing as they progress. So this is slightly different. It was the same session, but we're looking at a different area. For this individual, he's looking to improve his Olympic lifting. So in reviewing a separate coaching video, I feel that my strengths and areas for improvement change depending on the activity. Within this review, I feel that I was particularly knowledgeable in discussing the different phases of the lift and key coaching points. However, my demonstration did not provide justice to my coaching, as there were key errors within my own demonstration of an Olympic clean and hand cleans. I feel like this athlete has received a substandard visual cue that he may interpret as a textbook model, impacting his performance and development of this skillful lift. I provided a summary of coaching points and key cues, whilst providing sufficient time for the athlete to work independently. However, this is only suitable if the athlete has the underlying skill to recognise and adjust technique. Therefore, my coaching could have improved for a more thought out process in applying appropriate progressions and derivatives of the exercise. I always remember my undergraduate tutor stating that if the progressions are so tight, they should never fail. Therefore, I need to provide small steps to achieve the full technique. This course is delivered at a university, and we are fortunate to have access to equipment such as Force platforms, GymAware, and analysis software. I did not apply any analysis within my coaching, and I think this could provide great value and benefit to the athletes, as we can visually track bar path, speed, and force traces. As a key advantage, the athlete would be able to gain visual feedback on performance. We could provide a side-by-side comparison to an elite athlete, evaluating key strengths and areas for development. So, despite my efforts for athletes to take ownership of their program and to explore skills independently, I need to recognise that some athletes are not quite ready for this change in coaching, and the input needs to be suitable depending on the individual. In addition, my S&C coaching has been largely designed for a group of boxers, combining CV, strength, and power-based work. However, I need to further recognise that athletes aged 16 to 18 is a complicated age group, as individuals are at different stages of puberty. Rather than planning exercise on chronological age, I need to consider biological development. This is particularly supported by the following research that has evaluated the physical differences and performance differences between athletes. The research largely supports that biological age should be further embedded within long-term athlete development. This has now become a staple method used in New Zealand grassroots rugby. So, to summarise, in the short-term changes that I'm looking to implement and long-term adaptation to consider within my overall planning and delivery. Initially, I need to consider my level of feedback, questioning and cues, encourage athlete feedback and review without prompts or direction. Practice my own performance to develop practical demonstration and apply the use of visual methods and analysis to provide a secondary source of feedback. In the long term, I want to move away from this one-size-fits-all method and provide further individualization in training and planning to suit different individual targets, particularly looking at suiting biological development. In a bid to review athlete ownership and independence, I need to recognise that some athletes are still developing and require more direct instruction and guidance. An individual needs to gain a suitable level of competence before they can be critical in reviewing their own performance. Thanks for listening.